Hello and welcome to this edition of EMS Now Up Close. I am Eric Miskell with EMS Now, and today it's my pleasure to speak with Jeroen Tuik. He is the CEO of Connect Group. Connect Group is a top-tier European EMS company that I had the pleasure of visiting on one of our tours in 2024. But I wanted to get a chance to speak with Jeroen directly and discuss some news that the company announced here recently. So, Jeroen, welcome. Thank you for agreeing to come on here and speak with me. Why don't you offer just an introduction to yourself and to the Connect Group for our audience?
Thank you, Eric. No problem. Thanks for the invitation and the opportunity. Connect Group, as you stated, so we are a Belgium-based headquartered company, started back almost 40 years ago. Started from Belgium. Originally started from the cable harnesses and cabinets assembly, and eventually added the business, so the printed circuit boards, and then actually run some places around the world, starting in Europe. So from Belgium to the Netherlands to Czech Republic to Romania to Spain. That's where the locations are at the moment. And besides that, as from COVID times, we went global. So we went also Mexico and China have been added. So that is the status up till, how do you say that, Q4 2025.
Yeah.
So if you then look to what can we do and what do we do as Connect Group, it's contract manufacturing. So 25% is roughly cable harnesses, cabinets assembly, 75% is printed circuit board box build. And besides that is we offer as well the prototyping in a separate entity, the complete engineering, lifecycle management, tester, NPI development, etc. So it's a complete suite of what we can offer as Connect Group now.
Yeah. And you are, I think it's 40 years, right, in the industry, and currently, I think one of the top 20 European-based EMS companies.
Yes. Yeah. So we went to an organic growth. We doubled more than the top line in the last 10 years. And besides that, also from acquisition. So we are now around the 400 million euro point at the moment from a top line point of view. And we are split over different businesses. And that's one of the strengths of Connect Group. So we are really split over different market segments, also defense and aerospace. So we see that also growing over the last period. And therefore it's very balanced. So we are from high volume to high mix, medium volume, low volume, and we try to support the customers in every region as good as we can.
Yeah. Excellent. And I did notice, I think the biggest sectors really being industrial, automotive. I think it's like railway infrastructure, those types of things. But then also, as you indicated, the defense and several of the other sectors as well. So it's a pretty balanced portfolio.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
And the customers, are those, do you serve them all globally? Do you serve them more, you are regional and you're in all of the major geographies for the industry?
No, it's pretty common what I think all the contract manufacturers do. So locally, we have the teams, the program managers, the salespeople, and we have the global account management team. So regionally supporting over the regions. But it's as from COVID, you see really the focus on the local, but still being global because of the supply chain. And I have to admit, as from COVID, there has not been a dull moment.
Yeah, it's that shook the industry. I like to think with all the disruptions that this industry has taken, that I'm always impressed by how the companies continue to adapt to what's happening and are becoming more efficient and improving their capabilities.
True. But I think what really accelerated from COVID times, it's the digitalization, AI, and IT. And it's as we have this meeting now with Zoom. So in the past, this was not thinkable. Nowadays, you are everywhere contactable. It's about the information, the sharing, the chaotic information, how to structure. And this is where I think a lot of companies like us with a lot of legacy systems from the past, which was not there, this is the major transition where everybody's now looking at. So how can I interconnect? How can I share? How can I, as efficient as possible, share the information? Because the data sharing, it's getting more and more. and bigger. And
Yeah.
it's as I stated, it's a lot of dynamics currently ongoing, which is good.
Yeah, no, it is. But listen, what the big thing I know you have some news here that's just recently been announced. I know I got the press release, but I was on a tour and been gone for the last month, so I'm just have my first opportunity to speak with you. But it's about the Connect Group's news that they're establishing a facility in the United States. So tell me kind of the vision, kind of the strategy behind that, and why the U.S. and then within the US, you chose Atlanta, Georgia. So why that particular region of the United
Okay,
States?
will do. Now, as part of the strategic plan which we made some years ago, it was just a matter of it was not a matter of will be, it was a matter of when. Because if you look, for example, to the US as USMCA, so you have Mexico, USA, and Canada. Even before the new president stepped into the White House, we already took the decision that we're going for the location in the US. I do not have to tell you, then the journey starts where and how and what are the points that. So it's really been, as from that moment, more a matter of how do we get it done. So in the end, you're right. So we released a press release where we stated, as from Q4 2025, we will be operational. We choose the location of Atlanta. Why? Because we have a very big footprint in Guadalajara, Mexico, where we have a big factory supporting the high volume, medium volume, especially in automotive industrial. And we said, okay, so what is a good link from the Mexican facility, Guadalajara, to the US? Of course, there is a lot of headquarters are located in Atlanta. It's not one of the cheapest places to produce, but for us, it's the first step in the US in order to enter. I'm not saying it's the final destination, but it's a starting destination. So we are now in the final negotiations, starting up from September, equipping, getting the factory up and running. So being able to start hopefully mid of November with our facility in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So this is
And
just one thing. Sorry, yeah.
No, I was going to say, and it's a greenfield. It's not an acquisition.
It is a complete greenfield. So after some research, we came to the conclusion that we wanted to start as a greenfield. So we also start with the first step, which is doing some assembly and getting things done. So just the assembly part. In the later stage, it will also the electronics manufacturing will be added, but we can now rely on our Mexican facility. So it is for us, it's trying to get a feet on the ground and not looking to companies who promise a lot, like all the M&As. We are still deciding ourselves what needs to be done. So because for us, we still have a lot of growing potential in Mexico, Guadalajara. We see there is a big interest as well for that location, but we just needed flexibility from any geopolitics, which would happen. So there's the rationale currently, but before that, we saw this geopolitics happening and we say we need to be on the ground in the US.
Yeah. So and that's why I wanted to ask you kind of what was driving that demand for domestic electronics manufacturing. As you said, there's been over the last few years a move towards more regionalization, right? Local for local anyway. And is that really what you were responding to there, taking the politics out of it?
Absolutely, absolutely. We see that everywhere. So still the supply chain, you see that it's still global, but it's getting more local and local. Of course, some of the supply chain components are not available in the countries where you're at, so that's still global. And we as Connect Group spend a lot of effort in trying to get very data central and taking decisions in the supply chain from data. So we have access to all the information in the supply chain worldwide, where it's the focus on local, it's the focus on global, talking to the manufacturers, to the distributors, to everyone. And this is one of the keys where we said, okay, we need to change that. Also be in the US, although Mexico is part of the UMCA, but you don't know what is going to happen. And also customers were requesting it from us. We all know that if you take a decision now, that it takes some time before you have the place. So therefore, I say we already took 2024 mid, we took the decision, and I'm not saying that we did it quick or too slow, but it takes more than a year in order to get somewhere.
Yeah.
So we see now questions popping up, and that's of course it's the temperature of the day sometimes when people say take decisions, and it's what we notice and notice everyone in the industry. Decisions are taken very late, sometimes too late, and we cannot create miracles.
Yeah.
So therefore we say we need to be there.
Yeah.
And of course we have some customers, some launching customers, so we will start, and yeah, we make it happen.
Good. And tell me about, obviously, and you've referenced a few times the Mexico facility, which you have in Guadalajara there. So tell me about kind of your hybrid production model and how this will complement the Mexico and how that may benefit customers.
Well, first of all, Mexico is already a full operational running plant for multiple years. So they have a lot of knowledge. And one of the key things is that we're not duplicating, how do you say that, the workforce, but we try to use a lot from the workforce in Mexico for the Atlanta facility, which is kind of the hybrid. If you talk about a costing model, it makes a lot of sense to make that. Also from the purchasing point of view, of course, the components need to enter in Atlanta, but the whole setup and who is ordering, where is the orders placed, how is that going, that's of course a hybrid model. Mexico is known for high volume, automotive, industrial. This identity will not change. And we all know that if you have a high volume factory, you cannot run a high mix, medium to low volume. That's absolutely impossible. So we see at the first stage, it is with the current existing customers, which we know, but at a later stage, therefore I say relatable later, most likely we'll add the electronics manufacturing. That has to do with the type of customers which is coming in and what is popping up. And at the moment, there is no high mix to medium, low volume in Mexico because this cannot be. So we're leveraging the knowledge of the team, the systems, the setup, and everything which is needed in order to have a complete good working model for US. And we're still trying to find out, but that's if you talk about rules and regulations about the BAA, so it's how this works under the USMCA with certain rulings, etc. And it's we had a lot of consultants explaining it, but nobody gave us a correct answer, or at least the answer which say, okay, yes, this might work and not work. But it's yeah, it's opening, and also to be sure, the moment you are available in the US, and we have already the Connect Group founded, etc., it's you get more and more insights in how the US economy actually works. With so it's the generic model is we have a good running plant, a big plant in Mexico, Guadalajara. We are not going to duplicate that plant in Atlanta. It's going to be different, but a lot of the knowledge and the systems and the setup is going to be used from Mexico.
Okay. And that's what I was going to ask is what could, when you open it in fourth quarter, what would the initial capabilities be there?
It is the assembly and the electronics will be supplied from Mexico. Yeah, so this is basically what it initially is. So it's kind of a best model where we do not have to say to you under USMCA what it means, what components have certain high rates, low rates, importing, etc. So that's where we have models to see what is the most optimum, how to get it done. But electronics will be supplied from Mexico, and it's final assembled in the US. That's basically what the model is.
Which also then results in faster delivery to your customers.
From the US, we do sourcing, we can do the complete logistics.
And final delivery and customer service then.
Then we are already across the border, which makes final delivery a little bit easier than from Mexico.
Yeah, no, exactly right. Exactly right. No, I think this is exciting news. I've been watching with great interest the last few years as European EMS and frankly some Asian ones too are starting to acquire and put their footprint in the United States, probably driven by the same type of consideration the Connect Group gave to this decision.
Yeah. As one thing which I might add, which has not been in the press release, but you know that as I stated, 25% of our business, so this is where we started with, is with cable harnesses and cabinet assembly. This is currently not installed, but we are building the business case to find out, should we set up something in Mexico with our knowledge which we have from a cable and harness assembly. So this is the next step after we have successfully launched Atlanta. So to say, okay, so what are we going to do also from the competent side, what we can offer in Mexico?
Okay.
That's not decided yet. We need business, we need the business case. So it's because we see the growth in the US under USMCA, it's very good possible from Mexico. So it's we have the competence. We just need to fill in the business and the business volume to make the business case reality.
Yeah. And let me circle back to that. As a global EMS, the head of a global EMS provider, how do you see the rest of 2025? I mean, I was just in Europe talking to companies. Everybody's kind of hopefully optimistic still, and getting ready for those orders to come back. And everybody seems to think it won't be as bad as 2024, but flat to slower growth seems to be what's expected. What is your sense?
I'm expecting for the total group of growth. What I see is if you talk about Europe specific, so Europe, small growth, not tremendous. Well, I do not have to explain which business segments are really growing.
Yeah.
If you look to China, stable, slight growth. Mexico, big growth. So that's the dynamics in the market which we currently see. But as a total group, we're expecting that. I have to make my calculation from the top of my mind, but it's going to be a 10% plus something compared to 2024 from a top line point of view.
Okay. Excellent.
That's of course a half year still to go.
Yeah. Yeah. And as we know, things change pretty fast and furiously sometimes in the current environment. So,
but overall, I'm not too negative. I would not say I'm very optimistic or positive, but it's as you state, things can change very quickly. But with the current knowledge, with the current view we have, with the running projects, so it looks growing.
okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Jeroen, I appreciate the time. I think this is exciting news. I'd love to be able to, next time I go down to Guadalajara, I'll reach out and see if I can go see your facility down there, because I think it would be impressive to see. So
you're more than welcome. I think you know my team there, so that's you're welcome. The coffee is ready.
No, I appreciate that. And listen, I wish you success with this. We will certainly track it. And if there's any more news on it that you wish to report, please reach out. And again, pleasure to have the time with you today. And I hope your forecast for the rest of the year pans out. So,
me too. Thank you very much, Eric.
Thank you, Jeroen. Take good care. Thank you.
Thank you.